What's up with it, guys? Hey, welcome back to another video. Now, I wanted to go ahead and make this video because I think there is some misconceptions regarding Tier 3 and getting ready here for TBC. I know now that TBC has been announced, there's been kind of a wave of people that are like, oh, well, I don't want to run Nax anymore, whatever, I'm over it. TBC's coming out, the gear is going to be useless. Here is my argument to, if you guys are planning on playing TBC as a balanced druid, why it is worth your while to get tier 3 now. So I went in and copied some characters. We did some stuff here. So I'm going to show you some comparisons. But TLDR, the reason why I think that this is going to be so useful to get is that as we start getting into Kara, and we're trying to pick our tier 4, we're going to have to make a decision on what spec we want that tier 4 to be for. Because you have to, it's all spec specific in TBC, right? So my thought is, if I have a full tier 3 set, that's going to be my healing gear for the initial portions of the expansion. As we start accumulating gear in the earlier raids and Kara and Gruul and all that stuff, I'm going to be able to pick all that stuff to be balanced and not hinder myself from a healing perspective because I'm having to kind of split the baby, right? So if I have this full tier 3, one, the set bonuses are amazing. The gear is itemized very well for healing. It's just overall a very, very good set if you're having to heal at all. Not to mention it's a full 9 pieces, so that's 9 slots of gear that you can basically accumulate now that are still going to be very good come TBC. Now, the question is, how good? Okay, so here's what we did. I cloned this exact character with the exact same gear on, but I took my weapons off. Reason being is that my current weapon is Locomir with spell damage, so it kind of skews the numbers because if I had a healing weapon from Nax with healing power, that's like a really massive spike. So I took the weapons both off of this character, which as you can see here is level 60. And I'm going to show you the talent setup that we have here. Now, big kind of things here worth mentioning. This is from a mindset of you're going to be spec'd entirely as a PvE boomkin for your raid. But if they do ask or need an extra healer, or you're going to run 5-man dungeons and they need a healer, you should be able to heal very well with this same setup. So let me kind of go through the build here. Point being is you're going to get Lunar Guidance and Dream State. We're still picking up Moonglow and Nature's Grace, kind of still playing that Moonglow type spec. Then over in Resto, you really only need to get down to Intensity, as well as picking up Naturalist, as this is going to let us cast that Healing Touch a little bit faster and kind of bridge the gap while we have our HOTS up. Now you can see here, we have 798 bonus healing with this build. Not a big part, but a portion of this too is coming from Lunar Guidance. So keep that in mind. If I don't have this talent, I don't know exactly how much less it is, but I think it's around like 65, 70 less healing, something like that. But we're just under 800 bonus healing with no weapon enchant, and no offhand, okay? Now, this character is level 60. Now, we log in to Healchella, which was our kind of Restro Druid template that we made here on the Badge of Justice. This is a level 70 Druid. I also took the weapons off of weapon and offhand off of this character as well. And we're at 815, where there's literally like a 17 bonus healing difference between these two characters, right? When we're talking about just all of the gear that we're using. Now, keep in mind, my character has a very bad healing neck. I have very bad healing rings, right? They're all like Boomkin DPS type gear. So there are pieces that I definitely could massively improve my set on in my current classic set, where I could actually have more healing in my tier 3 than in this pre-raid template that we're getting with full gems and enchants and everything else. So I really wanted to make the point and make the comparison. Oh, I also have the flask on. If I take this off... Dude, if I take off the flask, it's literally the exact same to the number. 798. Keep in mind, this is the better healing enchant. I have the enchant on the shoulders here, the helm. We have all of the gems in. We have the bracer enchant. I mean, it's ring enchants. So you guys get the picture. My point is that this is the set of gear that everyone has been running all of the content in the beta with. Everyone's basically in this same type of gear setup. So you are going to be in pre-raid BIS healing gear if you have the tier 3 set. And now I know if you guys are playing Balance Druid, this might not be your focus, but it's really important to understand that in the first few weeks of any raid progression, it is very likely that you might have to play a role that's not the main role you're going to play for the entire expansion, and you need to fill a spot for someone that's missing, or isn't leveled up quick enough, or isn't attuned quick enough, whatever it may be. You don't want to limit yourself, and you can really spend the time now, even before pre-patch. Go ahead and work on getting your tier 3. These pieces are very cheap by comparison, so if we go over to the auction house here in normal classic, to put it in perspective, classes, at least on Horde side, like Shamans and even Warriors, are pretty expensive to craft the gear because you need a good chunk of these scraps, whether it's mail, plate, or leather scraps. For leather, at least on our server, and I would assume this is kind of the case across the board because it's really only for rogues and druids, they're only 2 gold and change, 3 gold or so a piece. This makes it much, much cheaper for us to get than a lot of other classes. Not to mention the tokens are relatively uncontested. It just depends on your raid group and all that stuff, I guess. But point being, even if you pick up 4 or 5 pieces of the tier 3 set, you don't even have to get the full set. But this is going to be gear that is not just going to be wasted. Everyone keeps having this mindset like, oh, this gear is useless. Why do I even need to get it now that TBC is coming out? But this is going to put you in pre-raid BIS before the expansion even comes out. This is going to allow you to not have to worry about getting the gear. Focus that time on getting consumables, getting attuned, doing whatever you need to do to get ready, and not worry about the gear for the first clear or 2 of Kara, and you already have a decent set of gear with you if you're having to heal at all, allowing you to entirely focus all of your DKP or your rolls or whatever you're trying to do from an itemization perspective in TBC, and focus 100% on all of that new balance gear, and let your tier 3 be your healing set that can sit in the bank for basically all of the first phase of TBC. So anyways, that's my plan going forward. I think a lot of people are really undervaluing, at least as balanced druids or these hybrid classes like shamans and stuff like that. Having the full tier 3 is going to be a really big asset, giving us a free set of gear for our off spec if we need to play that healer role come the first few clears of any of these raids. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully you guys kind of see where I'm coming from. I think this is definitely slept on right now with not a lot of people really prioritizing Nax after the TBC launch announcement, and hopefully I was able to kind of at least get you guys to understand where I'm coming from and why I think this is valuable going into pre-patch and to launch. So like always, if you guys have any questions, hit me with them down below. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.